Good morning. Welcome and thanks for joining me. See all this hair? This is how I wake up. This is my hair in the morning. I haven't done anything with it yet because this is one of the worst hair days I've had waking up in a long time. Look at that big fuzz ball. So my hair looks like this because it's wild hair. And sometimes it has a beautiful curl in it, depending on what day it is that I've washed it. And sometimes how much conditioner I left in it adds up, because I use a leave-in conditioner. I don't use gel or anything. And the only thing I do to really tame down my curl, if I wash my hair at night, usually in the morning, my hair looks really good that day. It'll have curls in it. But by the next day it starts fuzzing and I have to touch it up with a curling iron. On the third day it can look like this because I've already put it through 72 hours of weather, and so I just put it in a ponytail, pull down enough hair while it's still kind of loose. I had there it is. Frankie's not in here because he has been kind of rowdy this morning. Just pull it through. So I let him go outside and play. I want to apologize. I'll start off by apologizing for cussing so much during my last video. I didn't realize I just have had my second in a row best sleep I've had in months, and I feel great. And to be honest with you, I do cuss. Yes, it is part of my personality. Sometimes I cuss, and I'm just gonna put it out there. So I noticed this morning when I checked my messages and who I wanted to say thank you to, it just happened. I noticed that there were a couple subscribers that fell off since my last video, and I was like, oh, I wonder who that was, because I enjoy so much our exchanges, and I just love our kind of encouragement group. And so that was like, oh, I wonder who that was. And then I was thinking, isn't that true about life? I had a couple of you share some really deep feelings, as far as I'm concerned, about feeling isolated from people and trying hard. I think Eileen, gosh, some of you ladies' courage in what you share, it just warms my heart, and it's kind of the wind beneath my good days. We try so hard to please people, and then, the more they get to know us, or the more we get to know them, we know it's not that great of a match, and that's too bad. And one of my drawbacks is I've watched people's face when they see me cuss, and they're just like, where'd that come from? I'm like, okay, you didn't grow up the way I did. You didn't recover from all the stuff I had to recover. And if sometimes I drink too much coffee, or once in a while sneak out to smoke a cigarette because I don't want to do drugs and I need to calm down, or if I need to vent and cuss words come out, sorry, that's me. And that brings me I'm just so sorry. I mean, I do, I don't cuss like I used to. When I got excited. So I will try to, remember this is kind of public. So I feel like it's so private, though. I forget that there's even this public platform. I just feel like it's intimate. So I don't think I'm going to change that. I don't know. But for now, I love what we have, and I don't want to change it. So if I accidentally cuss, or purposely cuss, send me a message and just say, hey, you had 3 today. That's enough. Right? Or something like that. I don't mind a little encouragement to cut back on that. I don't know, or maybe just different belief systems. But anyway, moving on. I just want you to know I appreciate you. So I want to say hello to, and thank you to everybody. But Eileen, Anna, Carol, Janet, Bernice, Dreamskates. Y'all gotta tune in to Dreamskates and listen to some of that music. I mean, wow, it can put you just somewhere else. It's lovely. And Rose, Denise, and I got some ideas from Diana and Janet. So recently, so I love it when y'all give me ideas. The idea was about worry. How do you stop worrying? Well, that's a great topic, and I want to talk about it because it's important. Okay. Well, let's start with this. If you think about the neural pathways in the brain, the human brain is conditioned to help us survive as easily as possible. Make sense? I feel like my makeup's been too light lately, so I'm gonna use something. What are you doing in here? Who let you in here? Come on, say hello. There's my boy. Hi. All right, let's go. Good boy. You gonna behave? You gonna behave now? All right. Before he was digging in my hair. Okay, so I'm looking for a darker makeup. Hold on a sec. Okay, I think this one's open. No? This one's open. Yay! Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to get through my makeup that's been opened because I found some that are sour, so they're out of here. And that's too bad because I hate waste. Okay, so the human brain is set up to take care of us. So think of neural pathways in our brain as country roads. Well, when you drive on a gravel road, dirt road, especially after a rain, the ground is soft, like our brains, and the tires, which are harder than that soft ground, start building ruts. And if you do the same rut over and over again, it's actually kind of entrenched, right? So the brain, okay, so the trenches. So then when it rains, it makes it easier for that water to just flow. whoosh, right? Now, our brains work something like that, honestly. So if I do the same behaviors over and over again, out of necessity, out of laziness, out of well thought out solutions, whatever it is, we're having the same behaviors, the same thoughts, hence the same behaviors, hence the same thoughts, building that rut in the country road. The neural pathways in our brain are feeding the neural pathway the right hormones and the right receptor sites, giving and receiving messages that say this is the right path. Okay, so that being said, you can, that's ELF. Do you know, this is very inexpensive. Very inexpensive. But if you look at the ounces per this, it comes out about the same. So don't be fooled by packaging. There's not much makeup in there. Although the packaging is substantial, which, you know, I like how Get Ready With Me YouTubers sometimes talk about packaging and how it feels expensive, and it does. I really like, and they have a wonderful pump. That's why, I mean, I really don't. If it's affordable, like this makeup, I'll buy it and put it in another package, right? If I want to. I got to see if this is still good too. It's not watery like the other two. I'll have to check that out. But I refill this one because I like the size of this one too with my bursitis. See that? It's easy to do and it has a great pump, and that's a Revlon. Sorry it's so messy. I'm just not a professional makeup person, so certain things I'm a little lazy about. Kind of embarrassing, right? Not that embarrassing. Okay, so back to the brain. So here's the thing. Some of us were raised to be vigilant. And if you look up definitions in the dictionary, which some wise guys have changed the definitions of some words over the years, so I'm going off my dictionary in my head from the early 90s, basically. And I just wiped off some makeup there. So that means, like, let's look at the words worry, anxiety, you know, worry, anxious, and, oh, there was another word I was going to say. Oh, excitement. Okay, so some of this is habit, right? The thing about worry is rumination in my book. If the dictionary doesn't say that anymore, well, we're going by my dictionary. Worry is rumination. Worrying is keeping on the same subject over and over and over again, which creates anxiety, because anxiety says, I want to do something about this, right? So when we're worrying and holding this anxiety in, worrying is saying, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And the anxiety is building, saying, let's do something. So it's this tug of war, this tension that gets held in, right? That's the problem, is it's creating this weird tension. And our body in this day and age doesn't know what to do with it, because back in caveman days, we had a plan of action back in Cowboys days. We had a plan of action back in whatever days. We had a plan of action, right? But now society and media and everything is telling us, shut up, shut up, shut up, shh. Or when we're in a domestic violence relationship, that person tells us, shut up, shut up, shut up, regardless of caveman days or industrial age or what have you. The message is shut up, shut up, shut up. But that's not how our brains naturally work when we're in the natural flow of life. In the natural flow of life, if we say, oh, my son is doing drugs, or my husband's spending all the money, or the weather ruined my crops. Damn garden. Oh, sorry. See, I just have this sense of humor that's just horrible. I'm sorry. Oh, well, I'm not deleting the video. And then we have solutions, right? I'm going to prepare for rain and have deeper trenches next time it rains so my garden has a better chance of surviving next year. Or I'm going to quit using that garden and start just using pots that drain well, and I can pull them inside if I want. Right? We're designed to think about something until we come up with a solution. But when we're told, oh, you have to show love to the addict, or we have to stay till death do us part in a relationship. And I'm not saying we don't have to do that, but those are setups for us not taking action to take care of ourselves. Just examples. I'm not judging. So the brain gets caught in a loop, kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't thing. And humans are not designed. See, I have a little scarring here, and that's why I keep dabbing it. I really don't. I like to try to get myself to stop with the brush when it gets just right. But it feels good. I love doing makeup, so sometimes I'll just do a couple extra strokes, and then it's like, oh, that just messed it up. Then I have a couple more strokes. I see a lot of people do that. But yeah, if you can keep yourself from going back in over and over again, like I do sometimes. Okay, so I am going to, I bought a darker powder than what I usually get, just because I want to experiment with my tone on camera. In my other camera, I don't know what it is. I guess my makeup, I need to start using this darker foundation, and maybe a tone darker. And so I thought, well, I have so much light makeup that I don't want to go bad. What if I got a darker powder? Just to kind of, and look at that. Okay, so that tells me I need to be careful on how I put this powder on. Okay, so back to the brain. So to change, think of the country road. Now, I used to live out in the country, lots of gravel roads. And one of the big things is, if you have a gravel road, you learn how to drive on it so that when you see a little bit of a rut, you can tell because the gravel kind of goes to the side. So you slow down, but you drive on the gravel, and the gravel kind of scooches over and gets into the groove. So if you drive on your country road right, it's a smoother road, right? So that's why it's important not to ruminate that worry, ruminate. So if I have a problem, I write it down, and then I write down all the possible scenarios, whether I would do them or not, right? All the possible scenarios. And then for each scenario, I write down exactly what it would take from me to make that scenario happen. And then the results of that scenario, following its natural course. Now, that's helpful because it really helps with acceptance. And it helps us get to know ourselves better. If I'm not accepting why I'm in a certain relationship that's making me ruminate and spin my wheels, but I'm not willing to do anything about it, I have to look at, what is it about me that I'm not willing to accept, to stop worrying, burning these calories, making my hormones go out of whack so it affects my intestines and my heart condition and my thinking, that freezes me up from following through on some of the things I want to do for myself. What's that payoff? Now, this is strong talk, but this is kind of where we go in therapy is, for instance, if someone's afraid to leave a relationship that's very hurtful, you can still, feel that you love that person, but sometimes it's an addiction to be attached to their addiction, whether their addiction is abusive behavior or drugs or what have you. So if someone stays in a relationship that's hurtful, sometimes it's because I don't think I can do any better. Or it's, so then it's like, okay, we need to work on your self-esteem, right? Self-value. I think self-esteem had just been overused so much that people don't understand. Self-esteem is basically self-value. Do you value your life, right? So this worrying, whether it's about your kid or anything else, understand that somehow we got mixed up into thinking that and I don't know who did it. I think it's just some people are born that way, to think that because they had a rough childhood, they have to make it up to their kids by overindulging. And that's kind of what worry is tearing yourself down, giving everything you have, because that's your life. Your health is your life. So that your kid can feel loved. And I'm not saying this about anybody in particular, so don't do that. It's just, or a husband. And think that, oh, I'm just trying to show and prove that I love them. When, how does it make sense that we're showing love for them when we're letting them abuse us? No matter what their words are, what are they doing, right? So back to worry. So now the brain keeps doing something over and over and over again. And the more shocking, the more because when something happens over and over again, we're not truly shocked up here. But back here, we're trained to be shocked that this is happening over and over again. And as we do this, the brain gets a deeper groove, because trauma is a deep groove. Trauma is like, and when we do that, whether it's internal or external, the brain responds. Those neural pathways respond, and they get deep and wide, right? So it takes time to recognize what we're doing, accept what we're doing is not good for ourselves, regardless of what someone else is doing, because that's where worry comes from, is about money, it's about security, lack of love, lack of food, lack of safety. So we, especially as women, attach that to a man or a parent figure. I thought I would try a sponge applicator that I got in that eyeshadow palette that I got a while back, just for funsies. Oops. And kind of like it. I'm running low on time. Okay, so back to the brain. So the only way to change this worry, these repeated thoughts, is through EMDR behaviors, which means self-discipline. If you want to do it at home. If you go to a therapist, they'll talk you through it, but you really need to do your homework. Or they can do it on a machine, or these little probe things, which from my experience, I have a machine that I had to pay for years ago because I just had to do this EMDR thing. I had to be the boss of everything. Okay, here goes my darker powder. We'll see how this works. See what you think. I don't know. We'll see. But I think I like it. We'll see how it looks on camera. Okay, so one of the things is tapping, and you can look that up. There are a couple different therapists on YouTube who show about tapping. So when you're worrying and thinking about something, you do teach us what I call a chant or mantra or something like that as you're doing tapping in different places. And honestly, when I started EMDR with a therapist, we did ours on she showed me on my hand how to do it, because I could do it under a table and when I was presenting or something, or could do it quickly, or go to the bathroom and do the full body one during breaks at work. And very helpful. And then there's also the walking EMDR, which is another one of my favorites. And that is, if you can't get out of the house, you're not well enough, you can do the walking motion and gently look side to side. Find the right that's comfortable for your eyes, as if you're walking down a path. And then think about what it is you're worrying about. And as you do that, it helps disconnect. The biggest thing is you have to be willing to not be caught into that worry loop. You have to be willing. I think that's too much red. What do you think? Too much blush? Okay. Oh, I forgot mascara. Hold on. But you have to be willing to not live that life. And a lot of people are addicted to worrying. They're addicted to it. If they don't worry, something bad's going to happen. Like, worrying is not going to keep someone from dying or doing drugs or spending all your money. Worrying is not going to get food in your cabinet. Worrying is not going to get the rent paid. So you're freezing up for the right to worry. That's straight talk. Sorry. And you know how I know? Because I have been there. I have been there. But life's not fair. Oh, honey. I know. I know. But my life didn't start changing and improving until I was willing to accept responsibility for my behavior now. I couldn't deal with, I didn't know how to handle other people's behavior then. Plus, I'm not shit happens. I mean, I'm not a big gal. It's kind of hard to protect myself. And I'm not the smartest cookie in the box. It took me a while to figure things out, and a legitimate education that really taught me iota by iota what the heck was really going on. Oh, look, I just messed up my mascara. You can tell I'm getting really comfortable with y'all, and if you don't like it, please, say something. Or I will miss you. Okay, back to the topic, because I only have a minute. So it takes commitment. And people who have had trauma have had commitment to only a few things. Other people, thinking about other people, doing for other people, feeling shamed because of other people. That's straight talk. Codependence Anonymous was very helpful to me as well. And it helped me stop putting so much focus on other people and put the focus, okay, I'm going for that fattest part. See that? Fattest part of my eyelid. So Codependence Anonymous has meetings online, especially if you don't like being around people. I'm lazy. I'm not lazy. I just have priorities. I don't want to drive clear across town or an hour away, depending on traffic. And then an hour back, depending on traffic, could be half a day. So the deal is, worrying causes anxiety. Worrying is having the thoughts and not having the courage to do something about it. Worrying burns a lot of calories and can make the brain kind of freeze up and act also like it's depressed and not have the energy to follow through on basic self-care. Worrying is neural pathways getting caught in a loop. So when I have the same thought, which I do sometimes, I still do fall into that sometimes. I need a light over here. Look like I'm half a face. One of the techniques that worked for me is stop thought, change thought. I was doing the tapping as well, and then I was introduced to stop thought, change thought. So if I'm having the same memory, the same rumination, the same story loop that I'm telling myself, stop. Okay, blueberries, blue sky, blue dress. Right, I think of everything blue. Blue water, blue waterfalls, blue chateau, anything, or toast, light toast, medium toast, dark toast, toasters, the sound of a toaster, the smell of a toaster, the different chords over the decades of toasters. I mean, I love toast, so I can get into that. And all the coffee pots that have changed over the years, there have been several. So you really get absorbed in some of my favorite topics. And that's how you stop thought, change thought, stop thought, change thought. And you will feel the brain saying, that's silly. It's not silly to try to help your mind and body repair itself. So just do it to stop the worry. Well, if I don't worry, I'll forget. No, you won't. You will not forget that you've been abused. No matter how much EMDR you do, you will not forget that you've been abused. You will not be forced to forgive. Forgiveness isn't, in my opinion, even any of our business. That's up to God. Forgiveness isn't necessary. It's accepting that it happened and learning how to let it go through some of these steps. Worrying, that anxiety needs a relief. Okay, so now that was the worry. The anxiety that's been built up needs a release. Anxiety is pent up energy that keeps getting held back because worrying says, I got to think about it, but I can't do anything about it. And so the anxiety builds all these chemicals, adrenaline, cortisol, all kinds of things, right? And so that needs to be expelled. And that's why one of you mentioned joining the gym. Yay! I'm so proud of you. But we have to do something, even if it's a 10-minute walk in place, or dance a little bit real hard to some old rock and roll, or get down and do some push-ups, or walk around the block. I like to walk around the block. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. I love y'all, and I look forward to the messages every day. So I thank you, and I'll look forward to hearing from you, and have a great day, and bye for now. Oh, there's Frankie. Hi, Frankie.